Some good news for ANC staff members as we head towards Christmas. The ruling party says it paid outstanding salaries for October and November on Tuesday and is processing December salaries, hoping to have paid all of them out before Christmas. Staff members have been holding marches following the party's failure to pay salaries on time, leaving them in conflict with debtors. So we're now joined by Mvusi Mdala, an ANC Staff Representative Committee Chairperson. Mvusi, good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. I really want to say some good news as there's been monies that have been paid, but to read that some money is still outstanding. Talk to us then about how much of progress has been made to ensure that the December salaries are paid by Christmas.
Good evening, Thabiso and the SABC viewers. We will be very glad if what we have just said, that yesterday we were paid October, November. Unfortunately, it's not the case. Yesterday we were only paid October salaries. Today they are busy processing the November salaries. And then there is no indication at this stage how many have been paid, but we understand that there is a possibility that not everyone is going to be paid. The question of December salary at this stage, it seems to be out of the question.
So, Mvusi, what I'm listening to you then say is that you've only been paid the October salaries, no November salaries as yet, and you still don't know the December salaries, if they'll come or not. How many people were paid their October salaries? Do you know if everyone has been covered?
As far as we understand, everyone has been covered for October salaries. What now they are busy processing is November salaries. We'll only know tomorrow morning around about 10 as to how many have been paid for November salaries. But at this stage, we don't know the number, but also we understand that not everyone is likely to be paid for November. Therefore, that's a clear indication that the December salaries is out of question for us.
What reasons have you been given for this delay now?
They are not clear reasons. There's a lack of communication. As we have said before, that in terms of planning and understanding what is the plan in ensuring that this debacle of salaries is resolved till to date since June. That has not been presented to us so that we can fully understand and appreciate the challenges that are being confronted by the leadership.
Now, one of the things that the ruling party has been, quoted as saying in the public domain is that the Political Party Funding Act has created somewhat of great difficulties for them to be able to really continue having as much money as they would have had in their coffers, especially given, the disclosures. Are you, still convinced that that could potentially be the reason behind this, or do you, as the workers, think there could be more here?
We as workers, we are not convinced that the Party Funding Act is the sole contributor to us not being paid. You must remember that as November 2018, the employer ceased to pay our provident fund, whereas they were deducting the money. If you check from November 2018 to 2021, or April, because the Party Funding Act only came into effect in April, 1st of April 2021. They were already behind with a number of months not paying our provident fund. And also since then, they have not increased our salaries. We have not been receiving salaries for 3 consecutive years. There was no Party Funding Act by then. The challenge is how the organization is managing its funds in terms of usage. I think that's what we believe in.
Mvusi, I'm going to ask you something a bit personal now. For you, how difficult has been this time for you and your family? Because I can only just imagine how much of debt you've had to run up during this time.
It has been a very difficult for us all as staff members, that not being able to send our kids to school, not being able to pay school fees. to tackle around what is it that you can do not to pay this month, not to up until you lose something completely. Some of us have lost many things. Others have lost cars, lost houses. Others have lost policies that they've worked very hard. When you don't pay a policy for 3 consecutive months, the bank act on that because the bank is in the business of making money, not accepting letters of excuses. And then the pain is unfathomable to explain how we have been affected by this ordeal.
I wonder then, I can feel the pain as you are talking. How difficult are the conversations with your children and your family to explain to them that you cannot provide certain things?
It's a very, very difficult one because working for the ANC, the governing party in the country, no one believes when you say that we have not been paid. No one believes that how can a governing party not be able to pay you? What makes it worse, when you continue to work, to go to work on a daily basis, you continue to campaign during elections, we suspended our action because we thought that the ANC should perform better. And then as much as we understand that we are having this problem, but we know that is not an ANC problem, it's a problem of the leadership that we are currently having, that is the weakest point, unable to rise to the occasion to ensure that it meets its obligation in terms of paying its staff. It's a very difficult one even to convince even others, even when we're campaigning, that why should we believe you when we know that we are in a situation like you are. It's a very testing situation that the current leadership is putting us as ANC staff.
Given the fact that you say you've paused your action to support the party campaign, do you feel betrayed?
We don't feel betrayed and we'll never regret that decision. We took the correct decision and then to do what we did, to suspend, and then to be selfless, not to think about ourselves, to think about the better life of the people of this country, as we believe that the ANC is better placed with the correct leadership to address the problems that are faced by the people of this country.
Very briefly, as a final question, I see some reports are saying you're exploring legal action as one of the avenues to explore next year. Is this correct?
Yes, that is correct. We are exploring everything. We're exploring a number of things. We're exploring to talk to the former leaders of the ANC, former president of the ANC, to explore everything that is possible that is going to ensure that what is due to us is paid. Because one of the most worrying things to us is our provident fund that has been last paid in 2018 in November. Even if one wants to leave next year or any time, you are unable to leave because your provident fund won't be paid. Also, even if one passes on, that you know that your family won't be looked after because what is due to you won't be paid to them because the provident fund is behind. We have seen some families suffering from that. It worries us a great deal.
All right, Mvusi, thank you so much for your time this evening. That was Mvusi Mdala, who's the ANC's Staff Representative Committee Chairperson, talking to us about how, some of their salaries have not been paid, and some reports are suggesting that they've been paid the October-November salaries, but he says that they've only been paid the October salaries and not November salaries, and they're still also waiting for their December salaries.